Hello, everybody. At this time, we are talking about a business policy. Business policy defines the scope within which decisions must be made to achieve organizational goals. It encompasses guidelines that govern an organization's actions, the roles and responsibilities of top management, and the critical issues affecting long term success. An effective business policy should be specific, clear, reliable, appropriate, simple, comprehensive, flexible, and stable. And then we move to features of business policy. The first, specific. Policy should be specific. If it is uncertain, then the implementation will become difficult. And then second, stable. Policy should be stable, else it will lead to indecisiveness and uncertainty in minds of those who look into it for guidance. And then third, clear. Policy must be unambiguous. It should avoid use of jargons and connotations. There should be no misunderstandings in following the policy. And then fourth, flexible. Policy should be flexible in operation or application. This does not imply that a policy should be altered always, but it should be wide in scope so as to ensure that the line managers use them in repetitive or routine scenarios. And then fifth, reliable. Policy must be uniform enough so that it can be efficiently followed by the subordinates. And then six, inclusive. In order to have a wide scope, a policy must be comprehensive. And then seventh, appropriate. Policy should be appropriate to the present organizational goal. And eighth, simple. A policy should be simple and easily understood by all in the organization. And then we move to types of business policies. There are some common types of business policies. The first type, organizational or corporate policies. These are general policies applicable across the organizations. They are formulated by the top level management and define the company's fundamental beliefs, values, or philosophy. Examples include the company's code of ethics, equal opportunity policy, or sustainability policy. And then second, human resources policies. These policies govern the relationships between the organization and its employees, including recruitment, compensation, benefits, performance, and then termination policies. And then third, functional or departmental policies. These are specific to a certain department or functional area within the organization, such as human resources, finance, marketing, or operations. For instance, the human resources department might have policies on recruitment, vacation time, or performance appraisals. And then fourth, compliance policies. These are created to ensure the company complies with applicable laws and regulations. They might include policies on data privacy, workplace safety, or anti-discrimination. And then fifth, procedural policies. These outline the steps or procedures should be followed to carry out certain activities or tasks. For example, a company might have a procedural policy on handling customer complaints or processing returns. And then we move to the objectives of business policy. The first objective, consistency in operations. Policies provide a standardized approach to decision making and then eliminating confusion and ensuring uniformity across departments. They have streamlined processes and improve overall efficiency in day-to-day activities. And then second, employee empowerment. Policies enable employees to make decisions within predefined boundaries, encouraging accountability and boosting morale. Clear guidelines give employees the confidence to act independently while staying aligned with company expectations. And then third, strategic alignment. Policies align daily operations with the company's strategic goals, ensuring all employees work towards a common objective. This connection between tasks and goals helps the organizations achieve long-term success. And then fourth, enhance communication. Policies act as a reference point for employees and stakeholders, reducing misunderstandings and promoting transparency. They ensure everyone has access to the same information, fostering better collaboration. And then how to create a business policy. The first, assess the need. Determine the specific area or issue for which a policy is needed. This could range from employee conduct to data security protocols. And then second, define objectives. Clearly define the objectives that the policy aims to achieve. These objectives should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And then third, consult stakeholders. Seek input and feedback from relevant stakeholders, including employees, managers, legal experts, and regulatory authorities. Incorporate their perspectives to ensure the policy's effectiveness and buy-in. And then fourth, approval process. Present the revised policy for approval to the appropriate authorities or decision makers within the organization. Obtain sign-off to formalize the policy and establish accountability for its implementation. And then, fifth, implementation plan. Develop an implementation plan that outlines the steps, timelines, and resources required to put the policy into action. Assign roles and responsibilities to designated individuals or teams responsible for enforcement and monitoring. And six, monitor and evaluate. Continuously monitor the implementation of the policy to assess its effectiveness and identify any areas for improvement. I think it is enough. Thanks for watching.